Morning, guys. Welcome to Coffee Chat. Mm, mm. Wow, guys, I'll tell you what, it is absolutely beautiful. It's nice and crisp outside. It just is absolutely smells amazing out here. And when you get that nice little crisp, blast of, there's not really wind, but the air, it's just nice and crisp. It just feels something. Now I know a lot of people hate the cold, and I don't hate the cold, but, I don't absolutely love it. But the only way I know how to beat the cold is with the cold. You just kind of get used to it, and then you enjoy it. And as kids, boy, I'll tell you what, did we ever have some amazing adventures in the cold and in the snow like you could not believe. Leave it to a child, boy, I'll tell you what, to make a mound of misery into some sort of, paradise, I'll tell you, boy. Well, guys, this whole ETF debacle with the SEC is truly beyond the pale. And in fact, they've come out now. Elon Musk has done this review and said, oh yeah, it looks like their account was compromised. Now, the thing is this. Here they are themselves as an agency telling everybody else, oh boy, make sure you got your security passwords in a safe spot and do this and do that. And oh, by the way, put in your two-factor authentication and this and that. And these are some ways that you can go out there and prevent yourself from getting hacked and scammed and all this other stuff. Needless to say, there they are out there themselves. And apparently what they're trying to purport is that their X account did not have its two-factor authentication turned on at the time that the account was compromised. Now, did they have it turned on before and then they turned it on after? Why would it have been turned off at all? And apparently a third party got a hold of some phone that was associated with the account and hacked the phone, and that's how they got in and on and on and on. And you know what? It may be that it was a third party, but I'm going to share something with you from the perspective of being a law enforcement and a federal officer in a three-letter agency. So, in Canada, I was working for CRA, which is, the Canada Revenue Agency. The CRA is the Tax Department in Canada, three-letter agency. Well, guys, there is so much information that you have access to as a federal agent when you're dealing with those kinds of accounts and this and that the level of security is absolutely obscene. And on top of that, you are held personally responsible for it. So if you open yourself up and you don't follow the protocols for security, guess what? You're out the door. They will literally come to your desk. You will be absolutely escorted out of the building. You lose your security clearance. So once you've lost your security clearance, well, at that point, you're not even employable. So of course, you've lost your job and everything else. And you may even face criminal charges as a result. And even after you leave the department, you're under NDAs for a number of years because of the things that you've had access to and on, which makes perfect sense for most of these agencies. I myself and Judy herself are under those kinds of agreements, and that's just the way it is, and we accept that. Now, having said that, this is not just incompetence on the SEC side. This is gross negligence. Why? Because, guys, these people are entrusted with so much, information and things like that, and with the confidence of the economy to go out there and protect consumers like you and I. Now, how many people were hurt by this phony baloney tweet? Well, it is in the hundreds of millions of dollars of accounts that got liquidated as a result of that information, right? Because, of course, the market went down. All those people that were leveraging and things like that, they were hurt, on and on and on. Now, should there be some accountability and culpability? You had better believe it. There should be heads rolling. And if I was Gary Gensler myself, I would be resigning. It is that bad. Yes, people were seriously hurt from this kind of information that went out there. Either was too soon, right? Or it was complete baloney. Now, having said that, how do we know that the SEC wasn't really in cahoots with whatever this third party is? Because it makes zero sense. All of you guys that watch my channel over here that I know, we got law enforcement agencies watching this channels from various department, three-letter agencies, around, because we've actually done some coaching for some of these three-letter agency guys. So I know you're out there watching. Ask yourself this: if you allowed your security to be compromised, what would happen to you? I'm telling you, you know what would happen. Boy, oh boy. And this is the deal, guys. This is absolute hogwash, and my hope is that not only are they raked over the coals, by Congress and the oversight committees, but that somebody, whoever was in charge of that Twitter account, to ensure that those protocols were followed and that security was on there, the two-factor authentication was enabled and all that, number one, either they were sleeping on the job or it was with intent. Out the door they should go. And on top of that, the ultimate responsibility lies right there with Gary Gensler. But do you think that he has the integrity to accept that? Because that's the way we did it. Guys, if it happened on my watch and under, my jurisdiction, hey, the buck stopped right here. That's where it stopped. And we had to deal with it. And, I remember things that happened under my watch with certain individuals that worked for the tax department. I kid you not. And I was charged with having to go out there and, go through that whole disciplinary, procedure and stuff like that with them, being a part of it, the whole thing. And so you don't tell me that there was, this, oh, well, it's incompetence. It's just laughable. It's not even funny. In fact, when you consider the number of people that were truly hurt by it. And this is where we're seeing manipulation in this marketplace like no tomorrow. And because we're not regulated, they seem to think that, oh, well, we can just get away with it and on and on. And to me, sometimes I wonder just how much involvement these people must have, because boy, is it not a convenient out for the SEC. Now, having said that, a lot of people have said, listen, we're going to get a decision on this either way, no matter what happens. But I mean, there are Garys out there. If they were going to approve it, they would have been better off to be hush-hush about it and just allow it to go on, wouldn't you? Just have it go out a day before. But nope, had to get out there. And isn't it amazing how fast they recovered that access and control of that account? That is truly phenomenal. You and I can languish for weeks, if not months, not having control of our accounts that get compromised. But boy, the SEC accounts getting within minutes, they can be back up and running. Wow, that is something else. And that just shows you guys, if that's the case, and the X went out there and helped the SEC to get it back, that shows you that there's two tiers, doesn't it, guys? These guys up here, we're going to give them real priority. You little folks over there, who cares? We'll get to you when we get to you, and on and on and on. And if that's how they're going to treat us, are you kidding me that Elon Musk wants to use X as a peer-to-peer platform where people can trade in finances? Not on your life would I ever trust that. If that's the kind of way that they're going to act towards one elite group and then the rest of us all rank and file, well, not on your life would I ever put my, trust into a system like that. And so if that's the case, then they themselves have something to answer to the users that are on their system, because that is just total hogwash. It's either that, guys, or something else was going on. Now, I suppose we're going to see, but boy, does there ever need to be a big-time inquiry when you're talking about the number of people around the wide world were generally hurt. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a class action lawsuit over the gross negligence of the SEC in this, situation, and how that absolutely affected folks out there and getting hurt. Now, you've got some lawyers out there. Boy, this might be an opportunity to kind of look and see whether or not there's that culpability, Now, of course, government agencies, they can hide behind certain protective laws, to kind of protect themselves regardless how incompetent they are, which is truly obscene. Truly, truly, truly is obscene. There needs to be accountability. And until we have accountability with these agencies, and see some of these people literally face some serious consequences, we can't really rely on them to be the absolute gatekeepers for this space. That's at least the way I look at it, because integrity, it all comes down to one word: integrity. Guys, one thing about integrity is this: no one gives it to you, and no one can take it away from you. It's a gift you give yourself. You establish a standard of integrity and you walk by it. And I'll tell you what, the scripture even says, hey, a righteous man keeps his word even when it hurts. Absolutely. You don't think we've been tested in that way? Absolutely. Judy and I have faced tests like that, even in this space. You wonder why you don't see a whole lot of sponsors on this channel, things like that? Because guys, we've already determined we're not out there going to shill anybody else's project and coins and all this kind of stuff. And boy, have we ever been offered, and people tried to tempt us with cash and everything else and all kinds of stuff. And we've just outright, flat out said, no, we're not doing it. I had one particular one that literally told me they want to bury me in money. And when I heard that, I said, yeah, that's a guarantee no right there. That's what goes on in this space. And that's why, and a lot of these guys, look, they don't even tell you that they're being paid to promote various things, but a lot of them are. And we just are not going to compromise ourselves in doing that. Look, even last go around, what happened? You saw Kim Kardashian there get fined by the SEC, I don't know, into what, $1 million+ bucks, because she was out there shilling Ethereum Max and getting paid to promote it, but not telling people that she was doing that. Well, that's an integrity issue right there. That's the deal, guys. It's all about integrity. And this is where, you got to get out there. You got to stand up for what these principles really mean and hold people's feet to the fire and accountability when they lose that integrity. And that's what I see has happened in this whole, ETF, Bitcoin ETF debacle and X, because it's certainly rather convenient, isn't it? One day before they're supposed to come out there and announce whether they're going to go ahead with it or not, just one day. Man alive, I'm telling you what, can you imagine the guys that are sitting on the boards of BlackRock and Valkyrie and Van Eck and all these other places that have been waiting to get these, these ETFs approved? Holy moly. If those guys aren't out there lobbying for some accountability, then there's got to be some. In my mind, that almost smells like collusion. Who knows? I don't know, obviously. But I'm just saying, look, if they're not out there literally shaking their fist in frustration and fury, I don't know who wouldn't be, because I sure would be if I was sitting on those boards. Well, guys, I'll tell you what. It's an amazing day, and I sure hope that you're having a fantastic one. And boy, I'll tell you, we have really got some things that are going to be happening in this space. Don't get discouraged. This is just par for the course. We've been through it before. We've seen it before. It's the whole kind of deal. Get this. The SEC's out there. I'm going to end off with this. The SEC's out there to protect the consumer, right? Well, back before they filed their lawsuit in December of 2020, what was going on? Well, there was a big time run-up on XRP. Why? Because people were trying to get in there and get ahead of that flare snapshot. Now, the SEC knew that they were going to go out and drop this lawsuit, but they allowed people just to FOMO in and pummel in to build up their XRP bags so that by December, what I think it was 12th, when the snapshot was taken for the flare, they'd have a big, size position. And then what do? SEC comes in right after that and drops the lawsuit. There were no warnings out there whatsoever. You think that's out there protecting, the average consumer in this space? Not in your life, guys. And this just shows you their attitude towards you and I as a rank and file, and allowing this to go on. Absolute beyond incompetence. It's totally gross negligence. And the way I look at it, somebody should be holding somebody accountable for it. Anyway, guys, that's my soapbox for today. Well, guys, I sure hope you're having a fantastic day until later on when we have an amazing video for you. Have a great one and take care.